experience when you say, oh, can't experience when you say, because can't experience when you say, can't experience when you say, be absolution. It's a precious baby, it's a precious baby, that's what you are. It's a precious baby, it's a precious baby, that's what you. It's a precious baby, it's a precious baby, that's what you are. It's a precious baby, it's a precious baby, that's what you are.
Well, hello there, everyone. It's Christy. It is the weekend. I am Christy Winters. That means it must be time for Weekend Winters. How are you guys doing? Oh my goodness gracious. What a week. What a week it has been. You guys, I'm sure, watched the happy hour over on Kevin's channel that we had with Steve Shives on Friday night. And if you missed it, it's okay. I am breaking it up into parts, where I am also trying to monetize it, make it ad-friendly by covering up different swear words. So those are going to be coming out day by day. What I thought I would do is I would break up that hangout that we did on Kevin's channel into into each days of campaigning. So yesterday I released the 22nd of April, which was his Swindon premiere, where about 20 people showed up, and Carl, being the master politician that he is, his brilliant big-brained idea was to just blow past them and walk right over to the protesters. That's how you win elections, is by blowing off your own supporters who are donating their time and energy and you know, maybe taking time off work to be with you, and you just blow right by them. Amazing. The one I'm working on now is the next day, and that is going to include what was that day? We're going to discuss his campaign style, but also his trip to, oh sorry, the first day was Swindon. Did I say Bristol? First day was Swindon, his hometown, and then the second day was Bristol. So I've got that edited, and I'm in the middle of putting in a new sound over the swear words. I tried a beep in the last one. People are like, I can still hear it. Well, it's really more for the censors than, you know, being perfect. It's meant to interfere with it so you can't hear it correctly. This one, though, I've got a DJ scratching on the record. So you guys can tell me after I post it later on this afternoon which one you prefer, if you prefer the sound of the DJ scratching or the beeps. And that'll be about a 17-minute video as well, and then I'll go through and I'll do sort of like, so for each day it seems like we had a section of campaign material to discuss, and I'll just do like a campaign trail, and I was hoping then I could get away from Carl for a little while, but before we do that, we're gonna do some non-Carl related things this morning. I thought that, even though I started with this, I probably shouldn't have, but I started with it. I thought instead we would ease into our Carl experience by first doing something unrelated. I wanted to share a really cool song that I heard last night with you guys here. Now, I know that I am overdue. Screw Face Jean has a video out, and has had one for a while, that I wanted to cover, but because of things, it didn't happen. And then last night, I was thinking, it has been a little while, I haven't done so much hip-hop on the channel because of, you know, stuff, and I found this really, really great. I'm gonna switch. Oh, look at the puppies. I also want to update my puppy clip as well, by the way, you guys, because there's a couple more really adorable puppy clips. I just need to download the original video and add some more on there. So if people like the puppy clips, I know I do. Sorry, good morning. Stuff. If you guys like the clips, let me know in the chat, because I will continue to expand on them so that it, like this one is I can't. I just relate to that dog in the morning. I cannot. Sorry, I got completely distracted, you guys. Yeah, if you guys want some kitty clips, then you have to just tag me into stuff on Twitter. So I'm just going on what I found, you know, and I could pull together. But if you see a particularly adorable kitty clip, tag me in it at Kwint-E with K Winters, but then IE. You guys know if you follow me on Twitter. Anyway, where were we? All right, we're going to look at this one. I think, yeah. Let's go this camera. So I can see you guys in the chat there. There's my chat. I put that in the window. You guys are pretty, responsible adults, so I can kind of leave that in there without worrying about you guys doing swear words. We have some great Carl clips. And Kevin also had mentioned this one about the Chief Minister video that Carl put up. He so undersold this video. We have to watch that video. But Crypt came out with a new video that was released yesterday, I believe, for his single Down This River. Now, for those of you who might not remember which one of these YouTube rappers is Crypt, by the way, I have to talk to you. I went to the Token concert. That was amazing. I have to get my phone out at the break or something. I did get my picture taken with him, and I did get some audio clips of the concert just to give a sense of it. Really good show. Sold out here. But anyway, so Token was, a YouTube rapper. He's gone mainstream. And Crypt, so watching each of these guys, artists, Screwface Gene, he's really sort of old school and he's just really hard, at his raps. He's just really got a presence. Quadeca has got, I think, a really good ear for music and production, and he's sort of a more complete artist. But Crypt, I have to say, in terms of lyrics, he gives a lot of thought to the words he uses. He also does fast rap, and so it could be, the case that he would just say words that sounded good together, rather than really using his language to tell a story. And yet, it seems to me that is his particular skill. His respect for language, his respect for storytelling, the use of bars and punchlines, and also the idea of carrying a theme through an entire song. So this is a particularly interesting, I would almost say, mashup. I'm not reacting to it because I did watch it last night to clear it to make sure it was good for you. I actually was choosing. I saw this and I saw Quadeca had released a song that a lot of people had reacted to, and at the end of the day, I liked Crypt's better. I thought it was, well, in this case, it's more unique and original, shall we say. Not that no one's ever done a song like this before, but it's not the typical verse, chorus sort of setup. And in this case, so Crypt is Southern. You can tell he comes from a Southern background. He's got the accent, he's got the sort of approach, the Southern, sort of like feel to what he does. And in this song, I would definitely call it like redneck hip hop, redneck rap, because he is clearly drawing on his influences from country music, as well as his lyrical appreciation and admiration of the architecture of hip hop. And he fuses them together in a way that I think is very interesting. And he's drawing not only on those two sort of musical genres, but also a much deeper and more historical and perhaps troubling for some of us in the modern day musical genre, that being the murder ballad. So I'm not going to say too much more. I will I'll talk a little bit about murder ballads because I found out interesting things about murder ballads looking this up during research for this show. So we're going to go ahead, watch this video from Crypt. I will also pull out the chat and move it over to a different window so I can see what you guys are saying. And moi papis aussi, and kitties too. Yes. All right. So let's. I know you don't want to. It's hard to relate, Mithra, but maybe with this one being a little more country, it will be easier for you to relate. So let's. I think the sound should be fine. Oh, I need my headphones as well. All right. I'm gonna hit play. Oh, you guys can absolutely not hear that. I can see it on my thing. So let me check my settings here. I thought I had this set up. And we're going to put this in the coax. Yep. Now you guys should be able to hear it. All right, one more time. There we are, together. All together this time. Very good. See what I meant about the redneck part?
With a man who
All right, I guess I'm going to break this up for fair use. And also, Crypt doesn't tend to demonetize videos when people do reviews. Yay! Because Quedeca totally stole all the money I was going to make off that video reviewing his album. But anyway, the murder ballad, as I read up, and I'll show you guys a little bit later on, has a tradition of, being a song about a murder. And it really does, it kind of describes the situation of the setup, who the people are involved. It takes you sometimes to the act and through the act of murder, and then the aftermath as well. So there's a narrative tradition in a murder ballad that ends. It depends. Sometimes it's whether it's the story is told from the point of view of the murderer or the victim or a third party standing outside. But they generally have all of these elements of a murder ballad. It's kind of like a whodunit song and a why. And by opening up with this chorus, it is the chorus, Crypt is already telling us, he's going down the river with a man who stabbed him in the back, but he doesn't know that I know. So he's setting us up with the motivation, the means, motive, and opportunity, and he's giving us the motivation for the murder that he's about to describe.
Riding down this river, all these things that I remember. He don't know a thing kinda like me when I ask for him to mentor me and my girl are having problems. I don't know what's going on. Can you talk to a man and find out where things went wrong? I've done everything I can to try to make this girl content. I even bought the perfume she wanted that has the special scent, the one that smells like mint. I even got a lipstick too, her favorite shade of blue. Dude, what do I gotta do? He said, I got you, bro. Don't you worry, I'm your best pal and take a bullet for you, man. I hope you work things out. But for now, I gotta go. I'll make sure to give her a call. Let's hang out later, bro, and we can talk about it all. So,
all right. So I see someone mentioned Nick Cave in the comments, and yes, very much, yeah, his album Murder Ballads, right? And yeah, we've got here the plot line. We've got a guy calling up his buddy, like, my lady, I don't know what to do. She's not happy. I bought her this great perfume. I got her that lipstick she really wanted. She's like, nothing seems to work. And his buddy, of course, is like, yeah, I got your back, man. Don't worry. I'll talk to her. I'll see what I can do. Of course, you already saw, right? Like, you can see where it's going. That there was more than one hand sticking out from under, like more than two hands, I should say, sticking out from the covers. All right, so.
A few hours passed and we met up outside. He gave me a hug and laughed and said she was just fine. But he turned around and there was glue on his neck. And he smelled like mints and now he's going in the ground.
Back to the chorus.
Down this river with a man who stabbed me in the back, but he don't know I know what he's done to me. And we'll ride on down this river. He ain't the only one who knows how to act. I can do it too, and you best believe. So I looked him in the soul, and I knew he had to go. I said, hey man, the fish are biting, go grab some poles. I'll get mine at the camper and then I'll meet you on the boat. I grabbed my gun from my mattress and tucked it to my side of the stove. So we head on down the river to his favorite fishing hole, the one he showed me months ago, the one that nobody knows. He really likes to keep secrets, well I got one of my own. Two of us are on this boat, but only one's going home.
Two of us are on this boat, but only one's going home. And this is what it's really nice. He's setting up all of the lines in his hip-hop, not only to rhyme and have the flow scheme to keep up the beat, he's also telling a story contiguously throughout this. And it's not like he's the first person to do this. There's a lot of people who have done this before, but of course what he's bringing in terms of his influences is that sort of like real country western southern music and blend to it from his experience. So I actually personally don't care for country music. However, I can appreciate the lazy kind of feel of this sort of, like kick back and ride in your pickup truck kind of feel going on. And also he's good at storytelling. It's really good using his linguistic abilities to build up a narrative and to keep it all together. Why? So I just say 250, kind of surprised you like this gender politics and this seems not good. Well, again, this isn't about a real event. This is a fictional story. Right, and this is also, as I will show you, harkening back to a tradition of murder ballads that goes back to the 17th century. So, yeah, we've got problematic things in our music, and I appreciate not so much the fact that he's going to murder his friend, but it's more, he's tapping into that tradition to tell a story, and he's using hip-hop as a way, as the lyrical architecture through which to tell the story, which ends up being far richer and more detailed than you would get in a normal sort of ballad, murder ballad like this, because the lyrical density that's going on.
So I shut off the motor and turned to my friend and I said, I got a secret, man, can you keep it until the very end? He said, I got you, man, what kind of secrets are on your mind? I said, I wanna shoot you dead for messing with my future wife. And he tried to deny, but I reached to my side and grabbed my 9 and pulled back the slide. I aimed it high, right between his eyes, and said, two can keep it secret, but one of them has to die.
That's a bit loud. Sorry, Ron. All right, so yeah, let's check out Murder Ballads, because it was fun. It was really interesting to me when I was looking into this last night. I knew a murder ballad as a genre before. You can see I was looking it up because obviously Nick Cave comes up all the time as first on this. But when we go onto Wikipedia, I can switch here to maybe Me Small as well. Transition out of that. It's got a really, really, really long history. So murder ballads are a subgenre of the traditional ballad form dealing with a crime or a gruesome death. Their lyrical form is a narrative describing the events of a murder, often including the lead-up and or aftermath. The term refers to the content and may be applied to traditional ballads, part of oral culture. And there are also something else. I just want to skip down here, because this for me was the fascinating part. Like, how did murder ballads end up in the American South? According to the Wikipedia, by the mid-17th century in Europe, ballads of all kinds were being printed and sold on broadsheets. Printing press, right? Mentions of the sale of broadsheets exist in the diary of Samuel Pepys, and murder ballads make up a notable portion of traditional ballads, many of which originated in Scandinavia, England, Ireland, and Scotland in the pre-modern era. Even when a murder is committed, the murderer usually suffers justice at the hands of the victim's family, even if the victim and the murderer are related. It was also during this period that huge numbers of people were leaving for the future United States and Canada from the British Isles. Such immigrants would, from 1608 to approximately 1790, settle in each colony, with Georgia being the last of the 13 at its foundings in 1732. Words are hard this morning. I haven't spoken a lot today. I need to practice with using my mouth. Most of these men, women, and youths were not from upper classes by any stretch of the imagination, and they often came as indentured servants. They would already serve another person settled as part of their indenture to pay for their passage. Largely, these groups were not illiterate. If they settled away from the coast, they could access books, and they got printing presses there. So they're basically saying that the tradition came over from the old world into the new world and became local music, and that's where we get our American tradition of the murder ballad. So this storytelling form of music, as I said, has a pretty deep and rich history. And yeah, the content of it, one could say, could be disturbed by it. I think it is a fictional story. So if you're going to read, some of those are not, by the way, some murder ballads. Sorry, my ear got itchy. Some of the murder ballads are based on real events, and they're told from the victim's point of view or something. They're meant to initially, and I think back in the day, they're meant to be a morality tale, to be a warning of mistakes people have made or a mistake you could make. That's why justice was also part of it. So his rap delivery is uninteresting and pedestrian. Well, it's meant to kind of mirror the laziness of the music. And I don't know if you say uninteresting, pedestrian. I think you should go check out some Crypt. He's communicating his lyrics there in a narrative way. So I think you're being a little hard on him, Mac. Myself. So As I said, he was blending genres. All right. Are we ready for some... Let's switch a little gears. We're not going highbrow at all this week. I got back from the road, and I've been really tired. I had a good time away, but I think I left on the Tuesday night, and then I was like sleeping in different, like strange hotel beds or sleeping on people's couches, which I am appreciative for everyone who gave me a place to stay. Thank you very much. But I was hauling my case everywhere. I was on buses, I was on planes, I was on trains, and I just wanted to hide in my place tonight. So hide in my house this weekend, and so I've been a little more like energy withdrawn. I haven't prepared a whole recreational social science, and also a lot of my energy this week was taken up with following the drama, the ongoing story. For those of you who remember the Muppet Show, of a Muppet who's shitting himself all over the internet. I actually dusted off that word because it's a good old fashioned word. I don't know if I'm going to get on the censors for this. I think it's long enough, but it is. If you look it up, I'm 99% positive that beshitted is a verb, and it used to mean when you would go through the streets and get it all over you. We'd be sprayed up by people walking or carriages or horses or people stepping in it, whatever. And yes, Carl has beshitted himself once again on the internet. We're going to look at that. But before we do, oh my goodness gracious. Okay, so Kevin mentioned this video and in our hangout with Steve on Friday night. And there was so much content, you guys. I mean, I don't know how much we could have squeezed in to that show because it was already so long, and Steve Shives has a life outside of YouTube, so we had to end at some point. But Kevin mentioned this, and as I said, he really, really, really undersold. This is sort of up there with like the Bernie Sanders stuff from my first looking at it. So I wanted to share it with you guys because OMG, you guys. All right, should we play this video that Carl uploaded to his Thinkery channel? I was denounced by the Chief Minister of Gibraltar.
Fabian Picardo has denounced you.
Who's that?
The Chief Minister of Gibraltar.
Fabian! Fabian! Fabian, you Oxford-educated twat!
What is he doing? I can't. What are you doing, Carl? So I saw this. He's losing it. He is losing it. He thinks. Now I'm losing it. Oh, I can't believe he thought this was a good idea. All right. I'll get through it. And then
Fabian! Debate me! Fabian!
Shut.
I know you're out there, Fabian! You're out there somewhere! I will
He's so-
find you! Fabian! Come out and face me, you coward!
Carl, you're so dumb. You're so dumb. I can't believe your friend is laughing at you, not because you're cool. It's because you're literally acting like a complete muppet. Why do you do these things? You're running for office, mate. You're running for office and this is how you behave? Oh my, I have tears. I hadn't watched the whole thing before. Oh, I'm sorry, people. I should be more professional. Oh, let's watch it again. Let's watch it again. Just to and the sound mix on this too is terrible because sometimes you can hear him and sometimes you can't. Do some editing. Do some work for your dedicated Sarkoots, Carl. All right. Are we ready, everyone, to watch this? Here we go. One more time.
Fabian Picardo has denounced you.
Who's that?
The Chief Minister of Gibraltar.
Fabian! Fabian! Fabian, you Oxford-educated twat! Fabian! Debate me!
What?
Fabian!
He He's in the phone booth one is especially mad.
You're out there somewhere. I will find you. Adrian! Come out and face me, you coward!
Oh, police should just totally arrest him for disturbing the peace. Oh my god. You're such a fool. You're such a complete fool. Why did you think that was a good idea? I'm sorry, guys. It can't be very entertaining. Just watch me lose it. But that is a genuine. I watched part of it. Someone had it on a stream. Sorry, someone had it on part of a stream last night, and I caught the end of it. I'm like, that is amazing. I have to actually play that whole thing for my show. Oh, I'm exhausted. I'm absolutely exhausted. Whew. We're only a half hour in. This might be a short show, you guys. I need to get a coffee. I'm already almost out of my coffee. I don't know if you can see. It's almost gone there. And I'm definitely going to need some more after that. Alright, let me see if I'll get to 45 minutes and then we'll take a break. Because I actually do really want more coffee. Yes, it would be good. Especially if we're going to watch this next clip of Carl. And this is where he completely melts down. Carl's had a complete meltdown. I've already, put it here. And I just thought we would go through this together because it's so entertaining. Sorry, that really wiped me out. The complete ridiculousness of Carl. Now, I think I can get to Twitter mobile. I have to get to mobile Twitter in order to get my bookmarks. And this is a little trick for you guys if you have ever used your bookmarks on your phone app and you go to log into Twitter on your desktop and you can't access your bookmarks again from your desktop app or your desktop. It's not an app, is it? From your desktop window. You can log into your mobile Twitter home and then you will get your mobile settings and then you can go into your bookmarks. I had to learn that yesterday because I was doing it wrong. I think once I had done a show. Sorry, I'm just reminded of Carl. What a Muppet he is. What a complete Muppet. All right, let's transition. Let's just keep this Muppet tree going. Oh. I just keep remembering in a phone screaming at somebody who doesn't give a toss. Oh, you're such a moron, Carl. Oh, you're such a moron. It's like I'm crying. My eyes are still water. I can't. No. I got to not picture it. Don't picture it, Christy. Don't picture it in your head. All right. Oh wow. Whew. So yes, this is what's happened since the happy hour. He's actually been denounced. Well, you say denounced, I guess you could say, by the leader of one of the major parties. I'm kind of surprised, to be honest, the Conservatives hadn't said anything either, because there's really nothing to lose from a Conservative, minister point of view. And maybe they have, and I just haven't caught the media coverage of it yet. But nobody loses political points by standing up to a man who brings up rape just to make women feel uncomfortable. And to sort of bring up rape to let them know that, as the iDilettante, I Wouldn't Even Rape You, a feminist analysis article said, that rape is in Carl's toolbox. It's like, it's one thing that he considers open to him when trying to silence women. Bringing up rape as a power play. Not almost as a power play. So Jeremy Corbyn tweeted out from this headline, which was from, and I also kind of dislike when people post a picture of the article rather than the article itself, because I think people should be able to link to the articles to read them. But he only has this image from the Times. I don't know if it's the Sunday Times or the Times itself. And with the headline, "I Might Rape MP, says UKIP candidate." Jeremy Corbyn took a screenshot of this or shared one and repeated This is appalling and has absolutely no place anywhere in our society, let alone in politics. Solidarity with Jess Phillips. Which I think all the party leaders should do. Honestly. Just, again, you lose nothing politically by standing up to a man who's musing about raping women. Politically. And it just further alienates UKIP and puts more pressure on Batten. So perhaps we'll see other people in higher leadership places. Obviously Corbyn has an interest in defending his own minister, but there are a lot of, I'm sure, women MPs across the political spectrum who find the idea that a man could bring up rape with them in a debate or a discussion just to put them on the back foot, or to remind them that they are women and therefore, rapeable, and make that somehow relevant to the discussion. I think there's a lot of women who would have a vested interest in standing up against that and speaking out against it. All right. And that, by way of explanation, is what we're going to be, what Carl is reacting to here. There's also the little piece of news that he had put up a video about the BuzzFeed article. Have we all seen the BuzzFeed article? I think so. MP rape. That'll get us there. Oh, MEP, sorry. Yeah. That's the Independent. This is the Time. Okay, it's just the Times. This is the BuzzFeed one. And Carl had put up a video in response to this that got taken down. I don't know if he took it down. He might have had it struck down, possibly. I think that's probably more likely than him taking it down, because he tried to put it back up again. So that's also going on in his channel. He's getting himself more noticed by YouTube and PayPal, and probably not Subscribestar, because that's like a Russian operation. So they don't really care about enforcement of the terms of service. They're just a money place for dodgy people like Carl, who can't get on Patreon because he won't apologize for using racial and homophobic slurs. All right, guys, I'm sorry. I'm out of practice, and I'm gonna need a coffee break now. But to make it fast, I will go and it won't be like a 7 or 8 minute break. It will be as long as I need to in order to get more coffee. I just need it today to have a good show. So we're going to go with it. We're going to go with whatever my needs are, because it's my show. So I'm going to go ahead. I'm going to put the normal music back on. It'll probably go for one loop. I'll go grind some beans, make some coffee, come back, and then for the second half of the show, I think it might be a short one, you guys. I'm sorry, just tired from all of my traveling and everything else. We're gonna go through this. Now, it is an 8-minute video, so it might be longer than an hour show today. It might take me longer to get through, but let's do that. So, for those of you, minor coffee addiction, yeah, caffeine addiction, a little bit, just a little bit. Excuse me. So, for those of you, go get some fresh air for yourself, make a cup of tea, have a little wander, do some stretches, do some yoga, whatever you do in these breaks, enjoy, and I'll see you guys back here with fresh coffee in just a couple minutes. Oh, you know what? The other thing I have to do for my show is turn up the music properly, and I think I turned it down a lot, so I'll turn it back up. Okay.
I would never do a lot of it, I would call it real. 2, 3. Look into the eyes and shadow the end of the world. I would never do a lot, but I would call it big. Can't express when you still can't express when you still the absolution. Can't express when you still can't express when you still the absolution of love.
All right, I'm back. I really have to not dissolve into tears of laughter during these live shows because my eyes start to water and my nose starts to run and I just can't deal. Oh my gosh. Although that was amazing. That was cathartic. Watching him just scream like a complete, I don't know, like Kermit screaming. Ah! Oh, Carl, you are good for a laugh. All right. So before the break, we saw that Carl had made another rape comment. Sorry, guys. This is why I can't dissolve into laughter. And it was commented on by Jeremy Corbyn. So let's see. I see someone's taking care of stuff in the chat. Thank you, Natalie. Does anyone else, by the way, is anyone else here? Oh, you know what, Mike? You're so vetted. You're a mod. I'm handing out wrenches right now, so sorry, this will be a little bit boring for people who are watching in the future. But, yeah, Madalena, I've seen a lot of your comments. You're super cool. You're now a mod. Data Porter Doll, also, you're a mod. If you guys ever step out of line, which I trust that you won't, but if you do, I will remove your stuff. But you guys are all solid people and have been around for a while. So those are the only ones I feel I can vet. Oh, Mithril, you're pretty cool too. All right. So we got some new mods in the chat now. Some people elevated. Congratulations to all of you who've been wrenched. Twisted Hippie, you're cool too. Did I mod you already? I'm handing out wrenches now. Happy Wrench Day. Right. Okay. Yay. Oh, you know what? Wrong speak auditor. Hold on. Sorry, the chat's going too fast for me to catch you. You seem pretty cool too. I just can't. Everyone keeps chatting and I can't grab your name. There we go. Sorry. This is really boring for people in the future. Apologize for that, but we're almost there. Okay, wrong speak author as well. Okay, so now let's get on with. I'll put you guys back in the window while we watch this because this might be entertaining for you. Carl was I don't know why he thinks these things are good ideas. He lives in this edgelord bubble. By the way, guys, I'm really trying hard not to swear because I want this monetized. So hopefully Carl doesn't mess this up for me by swearing during his video too much. But anyway, right. Let's so he got denounced by Jeremy Corbyn, and as he does always, you know, he makes it into this massive drama. He tries to play himself out as the victim. Let's have a little fun with Carl, shall we? Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, ladies and bees and gents, let's count how many different reasons Carl gives for not giving an apology in this video. Because it's pretty entertaining. We probably will lose count if I'm honest. Oh, let me get my headphones. Also, for a guy who's been on YouTube for freaking ever, he is useless with technology. He is crap with Carl will cost me some ad money, Mike says. Yeah, possibly. I might have to beep him out. But you would think that after all this time he had acquired some recording skills. He's been on YouTube for how long? He's been using technology and equipment for how many years now? And we're just going to start off with his really crappy excuses here for this terrible camera angle, up the nose camera angle. But anyway, let's all watch Carl have a conniption? Is that a very old school term? You guys know what I mean by that? And yeah, we should have a ding counter. We can keep track in the chat of how many different excuses he makes.
Sorry about the way I'm making this video. I've never had to make a video using my phone before.
He's never had to make a video using his phone before. What sort of technological bubble do you live in that you don't use the recording feature on your phone? I'm sorry, it's just like, I can't believe that. But alright, he's incompetent. I can believe that. So let's go, and also, just like, let's say that he has never used his phone to record things before. Let's just grant that. As you would think that still he would make a bit of an effort to give it a professional look. Right? This is his response to the leader of the opposition party, Jeremy Corbyn, who is condemning him, and Carl's impression that he's going to put into the world is him being backlit, backlit behind a window with two curtains on either side of his head, staring up his nose. I would, like, at least not be backlit. At least get the idea of that the lighting is meant to go on your face. Like, when I'm here with you guys, I use this window. If I pull it back, I'll get blown out by the light. But I want it in the front, right? So it's just organizing my light. That's not so hard, right? And then on this side, I've got another light to balance me out. It's actually a Philips hub light. I really like it a lot. But I've got that so you can see my face, right? The basic 3-point lighting. Well, it's 2-point lighting technically, but I mean, still. Carl, don't put yourself right in front of a window. What are you thinking? No aesthetic whatsoever. So sorry, that just, like, as someone who, I also have a limited equipment, you know, but I know how to not backlight myself.
And this is obviously not something I was expecting, because I'm currently in a hotel room in Bridgewater.
Who cares? You're still making excuses for your bad lighting setup. Sit facing the window, you basic biatch muppet.
And I'm travelling to Taunton tomorrow, and I'll be speaking to people in the street again.
Ah, and he's got the autofocus on his phone going, so it's zooming in and out. You could have done another take, but no, he's too lazy. Anyway, sorry, I'll get over my technological criticisms here, and we'll go right into the heart of his whining.
And I'd love for you to come down and join me, especially if you disagree with me. I like to...
Yeah, by the way, sorry. I know I keep interrupting him, but who cares? It's just Carl. I found a great thing that he done. I picked it up last night. Let me go back onto my page here. It is pretty phenomenal. The dude who has, 1 million subscribers. He's got 1 million subs, you guys. He's totally, a huge deal. Such a big deal. And, oh, no, I think it's not in my media. I think media doesn't count photos. I think they just count GIFs and videos and whatnot. That's the clip I'm going to be putting up for this channel, this episode in Edgy Boy on the Internet. That's a quote from Carl. We didn't talk about that, did we? Oh, that was just freaking amazing. Yeah, here we go. So he's in Taunton today. I think today's the 5th. Yep, today's the 5th. Actually, he's probably showing up now. Oh no, it's still 15 minutes to the start time in UK. So he'll be there in about an hour. And he had 6 people going and 12 people interested. Mr. I have 1 million subs. Oh. And then this one, which had happened in Bridgewater, that's where he was staying at the hotel. 10 people went. Out of 27 were interested, and only less than half could be bothered to go across town and see Carl. Oh, it's too delicious, you guys. I'm gonna gain weight from how delicious this is. A moment on the lips, a lifetime on the hips. Oh no, Schadenfreude. There are no calories to Schadenfreude. Happily, or I would be putting on a lot of weight. Edgy Boy on the Internet. Yes, alright, we have to talk about this. So during the BuzzFeed article, I think it was, he gave the cringiest reply. Absolutely cringiest reply I can imagine. If he wasn't already branded with the rape tweet moniker association, then this is kind of like, for me, the sub-headline. He replied back to BuzzFeed, who was commenting on his latest video that we saw in the happy hour. And he just gave the cringiest reply. Sorry, I'm trying to find it here. I have to use the find tool. Boy. Oh, it's not on here. Okay, maybe it's in a different one. Let's search Carl Benjamin. Oh, here we go. Edgy. The edgy boy comment. This is... oh, so cringe. Alright, Carl is 39 years old. He's almost 40 years old. And this is how he reacts. Benjamin, who is a candidate in the European elections in the southwest England region, said that the claim was an obvious joke, describing journalists who quoted his comments as habitual and congenital liars. Okay, if they're quoting you, they're not lying, Carl. Just because you don't like how they present it, because it's presented from outside of your spin, that doesn't mean they're lying. And then, the kicker line, Mr. Benjamin, 39. 39! Added, I think I might just be an edgy boy on the internet. It's so sad. He's so sad and pathetic. He still thinks he's like a 14-year-old edgelord. He thinks he's king of the 14-year-old edgelords. He pretends that he has an audience made up of mature people. And yet, his response to things is stuff like, I think I might just be an edgy boy on the internet. No, you're not an edgy boy. You're a pathetically underdeveloped, in terms of maturity, grown man. You really need to grow up, Carl, and realize that if you, walk around saying terrible things in order to provoke people, and then people are provoked into a response, it really makes you look quite childish to then complain about the response that you've intended to provoke. And like with most things with Carl, he talks out of both sides of his mouth. He wants to have his cake and eat it too, because he is a child in that way, I will say. All right, oops, we've got some crazy stuff going on here with the window, so let's just get back to that. What nonsense. Whew. All right, let's watch this video. There we go. Right, here we go.
Talking to people I disagree with most. But I apparently was denounced by Jeremy Corbyn today over a joke I told.
Now, what do you mean apparently? Have you not seen the tweet, Carl? Are you just operating on word of mouth? Or did you look it up? Because it seems to me if you're going to reply to somebody, it's kind of important that you reply to their words. Oh, wait, you're banned off Twitter. Is that why you can't see it, Carl? Because you replied on Twitter and you're banned off. We all know you have more ban evasion accounts. We know you can't stay away from Twitter because you need validation from your 14-year-old Sargoons. So come on, just be honest, Carl. You didn't bother to look it up. You're more offended at the idea of being criticized than to actually engage with the content of the criticism. As we'll see. I did watch this before, so this is, I know, completely a meltdown. No coherence whatsoever.
Well, I'm not sorry for telling.
Alright, he's not sorry. That's one reply. Okay, ding, ding, ding. I need to get a pen and some paper here. Oh, why am I not more professional? Do this before the show. Alright, well, hey, here we go. Found one. Pen. Paper. Alright. First narrative in the video. He's not sorry. Not sorry. Okay. Hitting play.
A joke. I'm sorry you didn't like it, if that's what you want to hear.
Alright, wait. He's not sorry, but he's sorry if you didn't like it. Sorry if. I'll just put it as my note.
But it's not, is it? You know, you want me to come grovelling.
Oh, no, now he's reading minds again. Now Carl can read minds. He knows what's in Jeremy Corbyn's mind. And he knows that he wants him to come groveling. This isn't I actually raised this with a Sargoon on Twitter. They say, why wouldn't he apologize? And they say, well, Sargoons will say, if Carl apologizes, people will use his apology against him. I'm like, can you show me an example of ever when somebody apologized and people used their apology against them? And that person had to admit they couldn't think of a single instance. So it restated my point, saying, so what you're saying is Carl is not apologizing because of something he says will happen, which has never actually happened. So if he never apologizes, you know, it's just, he's such a child. We'll get into that even more.
Well, I'm sorry that we don't share the same sense of humor.
Okay, so he's not sorry. He's sorry if, and now he's sorry if you were offended. And now if you don't share the same sense of humor.
I will not be apologizing to Jeremy Corbyn for him being offended.
Alright, so he's not... Okay, but the thing is that Jeremy Corbyn didn't say he was so much offended, so much as the comments have no place in society. So it's not just like he was personally offended, it's a value statement on the use of rape in political discourse. Which, of course, Carl is ignoring because he wants to play the victim.
Just not going to do it. Because at the end of the day, I really don't see Jeremy Corbyn as like a moral authority on anything.
Alright, so because he doesn't... so, not a moral authority. You don't apologize to people that you don't see as moral authorities when you've done something wrong, because the fact that you question their moral authority means that you don't have an obligation to be responsible for what you say. Again, all of this is about Carl. Thank you, John. Ding, ding, here going off. It's absolutely ridiculous that he's saying, because you're a bad person, I don't have to apologize to you. And this is the level of childish mentality that Carl still operates at. And he has children of his own, and he's almost 40. It's so sad and pathetic.
I can't believe that anyone does. I think Jeremy Corbyn is a bad person. So when he denounces something, I automatically assume, well, there must be more to it than that.
Okay, so now he's going to start. And by the way, I see Cog in the chat saying, God forbid Carl say something that someone could use against him. Yeah, like an apology, like being a grown-up and taking responsibility for your words and their impact. That's something he couldn't possibly, have used against him because he's not that mature.
Or they're probably the good guys, aren't they? I mean, Jeremy Corbyn and John McDonnell...
So this now becomes a huge logical fallacy of ad hominems. Rather than talking... Because, Carl can't take responsibility for his actions. He does the Trump tactic of always going on the offense. And we're seeing this now here, too. So last week, when he was being criticized for his use of rape in political discourse, his tactic was to attack Jess Phillips rather than and justify his use of rape in a tweet because she said something that he didn't like at one point in time. And so rather than owning his own words and taking responsibility for introducing the concept of rape into the political discourse in order to get attention, and what a negative impact that has on the quality of discourse, he just attacks Jess Phillips and says she deserved it. Essentially, she deserved my rape tweet. Same thing with Corbyn now. Rather than talking about himself and what he said, he's going to make the argument that because he thinks Jeremy Corbyn is a very bad person, that means Jeremy Corbyn doesn't have any moral authority to judge Carl. And it's just... It's like the reasoning of a 12-year-old who is getting in trouble. So...
have denounced Winston Churchill.
Corbyn denounced Winston Churchill, therefore he's not owed an apology. I think, John, can you give me a ding 6 there on that one?
Calling him controversial, incidentally, which I found very amusing. Deeply controversial. Leave the link in the description so you can read it for yourself. John McDonnell calling him the villain. is pretty telling in my opinion.
Now he's bringing up random people who are talking about Churchill. Churchill. You criticize Churchill, therefore you can never talk about politics, according to Carl.
And then you just have Jeremy Corbyn's history, where he supports every terrorist organisation you can imagine, inviting the IRA to Parliament after the bombing.
So again, not talking about Carl's responsibility, he's just basically attacking anything you can think of Jeremy Corbyn, to discredit him, to basically say he doesn't have the moral authority to ask to judge anything else, which is, it's a logical fallacy. It has nothing to do with the original objection.
Phoning up Maduro and saying, comrade, in Spanish this was, comrade,
he said comrade in Spanish, you guys.
revolution is going wonderfully in Venezuela. Is it? I didn't even realise. I thought it looked like it was awful in every way possible, but apparently it's not. And then when Fidel Castro died, I mean, God, good old...
And now he's off on the Castro rant. How we got here from his comments bringing up rape again, a second time in as many weeks, and putting that out on his own channel. Oh, we're completely off this topic now. We're talking about, Corbyn's position on Churchill and his position on Venezuela. Because, again, Carl can't own what he does.
Saint Fidel Castro, the champion
Castro.
of social justice, according to Jeremy Corbyn. I mean, there is a Cuban community in exile who've had to flee his tyranny.
Like Carl cares about Cuban exiles. They're migrants, aren't they? You're at zero immigration, Carl. If I remember correctly, was it Andrew England you told that the alt-right were cucks on immigration compared to you because you want to end all immigration? So where is all this empathy coming from the exile community of Cubans? Because you don't want them. Sorry, are you just picking up their cause because it's politically convenient to use as a cudgel against Corbyn, and then next week you'll be complaining again about immigrants? Yeah.
He died with $900 million worth in assets, when the average wage in Cuba is $25 a month, right? It's really, really bad.
Wow, now he's class conscious. Wow, now Carl's really worried about the income gap between the wealthiest and the poorest in Cuba. Not in Britain, but in Cuba. Why? Because it's selective outrage. It's not actually outrage he cares about. He's just being outraged so he can attack Jeremy Corbyn because Jeremy Corbyn attacked him, and attacking his attacker is his only modus operandi.
The things that Jeremy Corbyn will put his name to. But I make one joke that's a rude joke. Oh.
No, it's not that you make one rude joke, Carl. Again, yeah, we go. Thank you, John. Another. It was just a rude joke. No, it was a rude attempt to insult someone in the past that you have revived and put up again by exacerbating the situation. No personal responsibility here whatsoever.
The fainting classes, grabbing those pearls. How dare this man make this joke? Yeah, I'm doing it to wind you up.
Okay, he's doing it to wind us up. Ding, ding, ding. Are we on 11, John? You have to tell me. His story keeps changing as to what he's doing. He's making a comment about this. He's objecting to that. Now he's winding people up. He just talks with no thought. He just opens his mouth and sees where his sentences take him.
I literally put in the description, take it, but it's a joke, not a dick, BuzzFeed. Don't take it so hard. Keep going. I don't care if you make it look like I tell naughty jokes.
If you don't care, then why are you screeching on the internet, Carl? If you don't care, why did you go into a phone booth and screech at someone for criticizing you and calling you scumbag? He didn't even call you a scumbag. He just said he was disgusted by you. Carl cares so much he's not going to make a video. That's how much he doesn't care.
I know I do. I'm an anti-political correctness entertainer on YouTube.
No, you're not. You're not an anti-political correctness entertainer. You're just a man with really terrible opinions. And you say hurtful things, sadistically, that other people who have sadistic senses of humor also find perhaps gratifying, but that doesn't mean he's an entertainer. And yeah, claiming I'm an entertainer. Ding 11, ding 12, ding 13. Yes.
Which is why it's all the more amusing when you guys act in the way that you're acting. Like, how am I a threat to you?
As, again, the Cognitive Society in the chat I made this point earlier, but it bears repeating. And yeah, he's basically doing things deliberately to be provocative, bringing up rape in this to be provocative, saying to people, oh, don't, be provoked at this while I'm being provocative. People react and he's outraged. How dare you? How dare you be outraged at my intentionally offensive comments?
Just out of interest, how is it that one pleb on YouTube...
Oh, what crappy camera work. Can I just point out how annoying the autofocus is? If you had a stabilizer effect in your app, I think you could sort that out. And now he's going to call himself a pleb on the internet. Once again with this class consciousness. Where are you going with this? So he has 1 million subscribers, and he touts this at his press conference to the media. You're all dying. I have 1 million subscribers. And now Jeremy Corbyn takes notice and directs some ire at his rape-themed comments directed toward a member of Jeremy Corbyn's party. And Carl's like, I'm just a pleb. I'm just a nobody. He's such a disingenuous POS.
YouTube, with a YouTube channel, is a threat to the London media establishment.
And of course, he has to paint this really ridiculously, outrageously inaccurate claim that it's not that he's a threat to the London media establishment. It's that he's beshitted himself all, in public, and people are reacting to the stench, and they're getting a revolting emotional reaction. They're being repelled by the look of him and the sound of him and the stench that he puts off. And he's saying, oh, they just can't handle me. The established can't handle me. Like, no, you just gross people out, Carl. Decent people find you repulsive. And you're so deep into your edgelord culture that you don't have a good sense of what an average person finds repulsive anymore. It's, of course, I think he has to be aware of it. But if you look at the crowds that show up for his events, they are white guys, generally under the age of 45, 18 to 45. Disproportionately younger than older, although you do get some older guys in the mix. And this demographic, especially the under 35s, 18 to 35-year-olds, they don't vote. You know who votes, Carl? Grannies who go with your mom to the bingo hall, who are asking her what the hell her son is doing talking about raping women in the newspapers. That's who votes. And we don't even have to speculate about that anymore, Carl, because we saw what happened to UKIP at the local elections. And a couple days before, the newspapers were predicting UKIP would clean up because the Brexit Party wasn't on the local election ballot where they were, where UKIP was also standing, and there was a lot of potentially disaffected Tories that could be picking up that vote. And you guys lost more seats than Labour. You are a terrible politician, Carl. You have no sense of propriety, no sense of professionalism, and your continued whining from inside your edge boy bubble just demonstrates what a complete failure of a human being you are at adulting in the real world. You can't handle the real world, Carl. You have to stay in the safe space of your edgelord bubble. And you're almost 40. You're pathetic. Seriously. I know, okay, I'm going to brag. In the last 2 weeks, I got something published by Oxford University Press. In the last 2 weeks, you've been called out for introducing rape as a discourse into politics. So, I'm clearly a better person than you in terms of my professionalism. You have no sense of professionalism, Carl. All you know how to do is to throw yourself in a pile of manure or roll around and say, look at me, look at me. Oh, thanks,
that's how you're acting? I mean, don't you wonder why it is that people seem to hate you?
Oh my god, lack of self-awareness. Where is it? Wait, Carl, where did your self-awareness go? Is it behind you? Did you put it out the window when you were backlit yourself? A lack of self-awareness. Do you know why people hate you, Carl? Just put that on yourself. Wow. Yeah, do you know why people hate you, Carl? It's not because you speak truth to power. It's because you try to be deliberately provocative and then act offended when other people take offense.
Why do people hate Jeremy Corbyn?
Why do people hate Carl of Swindon? Because you're numpty. Div.
I hate the fact that they've got the Labour and the Conservative Party to choose from. but they've got no better choices.
Yeah, you're not giving them any better choices with your run for UKIP there, Carl. In fact, people are leaving in droves. Like, there's a rush at the exits for everyone to disassociate from the stench of you and Batten and Dankula in the UKIP conference room.
And then you sit there and go, well, this guy told mean jokes. Yeah, maybe. I imagine Winston Churchill did too.
Okay, so there you go. Oh my god, he edited that. He kept that in. So there you go. There's another reason. Are we on 13 or 14, John? You're doing an awesome job keeping track of it. 17, right? Maybe Churchill told rude jokes too. And he then edited this together and thought this video was a good idea. He's just having a meltdown. He's just having a ranty sort of, just free association meltdown of anger and projection, defensiveness. And who is it? Natalie? Yeah, Natalie Kirk in the comment says old man yells at clouds. Pretty much. It's like, sir, this is an Arby's drive-through. Can you please move along? So
yeah, to I guess wrap this up.
He's going to wrap this up in minute 3:28. Oh no, he just melts down. I'm sorry, I'm seeing my mic is spiking a little bit. I'll try to take this down a little bit so it's a bit more comfortable for you guys listening. Oh my goodness gracious.
My official response to Jeremy Corbyn is, I don't care about your shaming and moral condemnation. I will not be shamed by a terrorist supporter.
Alright, he won't be shamed unless apparently you meet his moral threshold. And I'm guessing, based on his past experience, people that he would be willing to be evaluated by include Amos Yee, Andrew Anglin, Milo Yiannopoulos, Paul Joseph Watson. Those are the people that he feels morally, that are morally qualified to judge him. The gutter, I guess.
I mean, Diane Abbott, literally, actually says Shamima Begum.
What does Diane Abbott have to do with anything? He's gone off the rails here, you guys. He's completely gone off the rails. What the hell is Carl thinking? He's just free associating. So let's just hear him rant. This is going to be entertaining.
Has been groomed. I mean, it is really true that, oh my god, Labour finally find a grooming gang victim they empathise with, and she's in ISIS. Do you not see there's something wrong with...
Oh, that autofocus is so annoying. Carl, turn it off. You're so useless. Seriously, how could you put this up there as a video? It's so poor.
With the Labour Party. The whining about the joke I've told. It's just a joke, for Christ's sake.
Whining about the joke you told in order to be provocative about rape. Yeah, we're going to take you seriously, Carl.
Apologise for this joke. No, I'm not apologising for a joke. You wouldn't ask... No one in their right mind asks someone to apologise for a joke.
People get asked to apologize for jokes all the time, and they do. People even who try to use "it was just a joke" as an excuse offer apologies. There's a guy's name Stephen Moore, who was nominated, or Trump wanted to nominate him for the Fed, and he'd made comments about black people, he made comments about women back in the early 2000s, went on national television to say those were jokes, and also to apologize for them. But the difference, of course, we all know, is that Carl isn't enough of an adult to take responsibility for what he says. And he's not enough of a grown-up. He's not mature enough, emotionally, intellectually, to acknowledge when he's done something that hurts somebody else, and to own that and learn from it. Learn about a boundary and why crossing that boundary hurts people. But he's too egotistical, he's too immature, he's too wrapped up in his own little shitlord bubble to be a grown-up, to be a decent human being. So he's really in no place to lecture anyone else on their moral frameworks, while he is hiding in his edgelord bubble, throwing rape jokes from behind a wall with Sargoons, saying free speech is free speech, don't criticize me, and maybe I would rape you, Jess Phillips.
Unless they were said to them personally. 3 years ago, you told a joke or you did something to someone else on a different, not even face to face, and you're still demanding an apology. It's
yes. You know what I really love, you guys? You know what I really, really love? Is that this is getting under his skin. The fact that he is so annoyed that he is being held to account again and again and again, that this tweet from 3 years ago keeps being dragged up and thrown in his face because he won't apologize for it. And then he doubles down and refuses to apologize for it. And you know what it does? It keeps it going. It's not a 3-year-old tweet that's dead. It's a 3-year-old tweet that you keep alive by, one, reusing, like you did on the 19th of April to me on Twitter, which is part of the reason your latest ban evasion account got banned. And you won't acknowledge that what you've done is wrong and you won't stop. So it's not, you're keeping it alive yourself, Carl, by bringing it up like you had in this video. No one asked you to post that video clip of you saying, oh, maybe I would rape her with enough pressure. You did that. You put that up. And yeah, you're getting a lot of well-deserved crap for it. So, don't be throwing out more bait and then whining about the fact that people come along with a verbal stick and smack you with it and smack you down. You were looking for that attention. Now you're getting it. And it is glorious.
It's so wild. It's so weird. It's like, what are you thinking? No one cares about any of that.
Clearly they do, because the headlines are amazing to read, and they are getting clicks. And people across Britain look at this gormless face and think, that's the rape tweet guy. I love it. Love it. You've earned it, Carl. You've earned it, and we're branding you with it. This is your personal brand from now till you die.
I mean, it really does feel like things are circling the drain at this point.
No, that's you, Carl. that feeling of circling the drain. That's you. You're circling the drain, mate. Your lack of self-awareness. Oh, it's so delicious to watch you flail. Please, more.
That's why I'm doing anything, and all you're doing is making it look like I'm right.
No. What we're doing is putting your face out to an entire country. And you are introducing yourself as the rape tweet guy, and then you're doubling down on it. You've actually managed to, supplant a dodgy story about your position on age of consent, which you have platformed and given PR spin to people who want to eliminate the age of consent. But you've actually managed to wrestle what could have been a positive story for you and put it back onto the rape tweet discourse. Someone put on Twitter, you managed to take the bad news about UKIP's local elections, their performance in the local elections, and make it about your rape tweet again. It's amazing how you just attract like pig shite to you, flying in. You're like a black hole of manure, just attracting it into the universe because of how you behave.
Like going way over the top. I mean, you're saying the most ridiculous things about me. I can't wait to see what the lawsuit's going to end up looking like in the end.
The lawsuit for quoting you accurately. Good luck with that. You're pretending like this rape tweet thing. So here, can we just break down how dumb Carl is? Carl, let me explain to you in very small words how dumb you are. Last week, you were drawing a line saying, my tweet was not a threat. I was not saying I would rape her. If anything, I was saying I wouldn't rape her, and people who portray my rape tweet as a rape threat are committing defamation. What do you do this week? You put out a video saying, well, I might rape her with enough pressure. You've just undermined your own legal argument, you moron. If you wanted to say that you had this strict line of definitely not wanting to convey the idea that entertaining rape was something that was happening in your head, based on the even in your sentence, then this week you removed that doubt that you were weighing up whether or not to rape her because you said, I might, with enough pressure, change my mind and even rape her. So why would anyone think that you were being defamed in the press when you've actually said the thing you claimed you were being defamed about? It's like there are so many layers of dumb under here. And I don't want to use that in like an ableist way. I think Carl's mentally lazy He's just not thinking through things. I think he's perfectly capable of following the logic. He's just too lazy and unthoughtful and uncaring to do it. And to me, that's dumb. That's just dumb. That's like driving drunk when you know better. Even if you're drunk, you should know better, and it's dumb.
Like, I have seen the most absurd things. It's like, look, that just doesn't happen. The things you're saying aren't believable.
Who is he talking about and what is he saying? Who knows? It's all going on in his head.
The things you're doing are just pathological.
What things? I mean, other than complaining on Twitter and covering his statements by quoting him in the press, what is he objecting to?
There is no need to carry on like this, but for some reason, you can't stop yourselves.
Does anyone else feel like there's a lot of projection? Can we just go back 30 seconds and just re-listen to that and see if everything Carl's just said actually applies to him? Let's do that.
You're saying the most ridiculous things about me. I can't wait to see what the lawsuit's going to end up looking like in the end. Like, I have seen the most absurd things. It's like, look, that just doesn't happen. The things you're saying are...
Carl says this all the time. He does absurd things that never happens on what he used to make in This Week in Stupid, right? He would just spin stuff and be crap. He'd just make crap up.
Believable. The things you're doing are just pathological.
Yeah, again, applies to Carl.
There is no need to carry on like this.
Again, that totally applies to Carl.
But for some reason, you can't stop yourself.
That totally applies to Carl. Carl, just watch your video. You have the keys to your own pathological behavior here. You're talking about yourself. You're projecting.
It's like, okay, well, fine. I'm just going to enjoy myself at your expense. I don't care how offended you guys get.
At this point, Carl, I'm enjoying myself at your expense. Honestly, like what you are doing to your reputation is far worse than I've ever been able to manage. All we really had to do was to get you into a place where the national media actually had to pay attention to you. And you did that by running for office. When you run for office, you are standing up to public scrutiny, and everything you've ever said and everything you've ever done in the past becomes relevant. As if you didn't know this. And it's so amazingly sweet to taste, your failure. It has a sort of hint of strawberry and Prosecco, to it, in my mind.
Like, I'm not looking to be your friends. I'm not looking to hang out. I'm not looking to, go for a beer in the bars afterwards, after you've done your jobs opposing each other in Westminster, and then go and hang out in whatever bars you hang out in.
I don't want to be part of your cool kids club. I totally want to be the rejected outsider forever and ever and ever. Oh, you're doing a good job.
I'm not part of that world. And you should stop acting as if I am. Because it's weird, and it means you make weird demands of people.
He put himself up for public office. And now he's pretending like the standards he's being held to are unreasonable. This is a meltdown. This makes no sense. Carl, you're literally making no sense. You're just babbling all your fifis onto your channel in order to be in your little bubble with your other edgelords who stand for you on Twitter, all the rape apologists that you've got. Well, not all of them. There's not that many left. They're spread so widely trying to cover all of the rape apology that you are making them do. But seriously, this is nothing more than a little boy's tantrum. An edgy boy on the internet who is getting smacked down by grown-ups.
I honestly don't believe that you're entitled to ask.
He stands for public office, but you're not entitled to ask him questions. Batten, what are you doing? What are you doing? Somebody get this guy a campaign manager. Someone please at the UKIP headquarters impose a campaign manager on Carl. And do not let him put anything up on his channel that isn't approved by the party. Do not let him talk to the media without having someone there checking what he is going to say, making sure he doesn't say dumb things. It is just... It's unbelievable how bad this is.
I really don't. And then you print horrible things, and it's strange. It's like, hey, here's a guy you need to hate today.
you put up rape jokes on purpose to get attention and then complain when people point out you're doing rape jokes. He is just, okay, I know I keep repeating myself, it must be kind of boring, but he is seriously ridiculous. Absolutely ridiculous.
Who the hell has what they hate decided by a journalist?
Wait. I thought Carl said, like he's an entertainer, but he's also claimed to be a journalist, and he's constantly using his channel to tell his fans who to hate. Again, the lack of self-awareness. Peak. So peak. Alright guys, I noticed I've been going now for an hour and a half. I do need another break. I'm actually really, really desperate. I'm out of coffee again. So I know, can we hold off? Can we do another 2-minute break here? I'm really sorry, but we still have another 3 minutes of yelling at Carl, and so I don't want to plow through and end the show quickly. So ding Hitler, bing Hitler, James Russell, newly modded James in the way. Yeah, I am a coffee monster, Madalena. Absolutely. All right, so let's go ahead. We'll take another quick break, and then I'll come back and do the rest, and then I will talk to the chat for the end of the show, and then we'll wrap up at the 2-hour mark as we normally do. All right, so coming back to the opening scene, and I'll mute myself, and we'll come back and meet each other in a few minutes. Bye.
Any shadow at the end of the world. I would never do love, but I would call it big. Can't express what you still, can't express what you still. The absolution. Can't express what you still, can't express what you still. The absolution of love. It's a precious baby, it's a precious baby. That's what you are. It's a precious baby, it's a precious baby. Next time you say don't talk, I say you talk. Because no one's late in life. I need to compromise my life. And I say that you always are. But that's sad. Because can't express myself, can't express myself. Because can't express myself, can't express myself. The absolution. It's a precious baby, it's a precious baby. That's what you are. It's a precious baby, it's a precious baby. That's what you. It's a precious baby, it's a precious baby. That's what you are. It's a precious baby, it's a precious baby. That's what you are. The absolution of life.
Back. Yeah, I'm transitioning. There we go. I've transitioned the screen. So, hello again, everyone. Also, I don't know if you can tell, I got my hair cut. My hair cut when I got back from the UK, my trip. It was so long. I went to see my hairdresser and she said, your head looks like a mushroom. And I had to laugh because she was right. So, no more mushroom. Now I've got it. Although, I mean, I love my hairdresser, but I swear, she has this thing where she cuts the hair at this side really short, but then she leaves this side really long. So I'm going to have to go and have her even that out. But at least the bangs are set up. All right. Yeah, that was quick. I just needed to refresh my coffee. My lovely mocha mug. You guys know I love my mocha. And I love coffee, especially on a Sunday morning. It's like a little bit of heaven if I was a believer in heaven. All right, so let's see if we can finish up this rant. Haircut is nice. Thank you, James. Appreciate it. Yes. I'm kind of thinking got me off on a haircut tangent here. I'm trying to decide whether to grow it out a little bit more, but what I'm rocking is a much shorter cut in the back of the ears because my glasses means that if I have really long hair, it'll stick out and look stupid. So trying to do this balance where I'm growing it out in the front but leaving it short, and it might just get really, really weird on an angle. Anyway, that's what you guys show up on a Sunday to hear about. You want to laugh at Carl with me, so let's laugh at Carl. Because that's way more fun than talking about my haircut.
Like, who the hell would actually consciously do that?
Oh, yes. Who the hell consciously do what, Carl? Act like a twit. Div, by the way, div is a British term I like a lot. So call him a bit of a div. There's a whole history to that term I've discussed before. But
it's strange. It's like, hey, here's a guy you need to hate today.
Oh yes, right. We were talking about the fact that Carl puts people up for his fans to hate all the time, and now he's projecting once again.
Who the hell has what they hate decided by a journalist?
Your fans have what they hate decided by what you spin on your channel all the time, Carl. It's such a muppet.
Like, who the hell would actually consciously do that?
You and your fans. All the time. Again, just lack of self-awareness.
Well, that's the thing, isn't it? That's how you manipulate everyone.
Yeah, Carl, that's how you manipulate everyone, by spreading lies like Jess Phillips lied at men's suicide when she was laughing at the idea that a committee that had all men but her, in a parliament that has 80+% men, never have an opportunity to discuss men's issues except on a special day. The fact is that, men choose to ignore men's issues because of patriarchal values that you promote.
You don't let them on. You just say, hey, look at this information I'm conveniently producing.
Yeah, again, he's describing his own content in his own channel. Wow, so much self-projection here. Just so much of himself.
Wow, you must really hate that, don't you? But hey, I get the feeling that more and more people are starting to realize that the press is the problem.
More and more people are starting to realize, Carl, that you're a scumbag and a dirtball. And there's nothing redeeming about you. And they're basing that all off of your own comments and your own reactions to how people are reacting to you. And it couldn't have happened to a more deserving POS. This is it's every day. In the last 10 days, you are such a lull cow. I'm milking you, Carl. Every day I'm milking you. Give me more milk. Give me more milk. Yeah, ding XXX, John. We're already out of, we're into double digits in terms of his excuses for why he's not going to apologize. And it's to blame everyone except for taking him, responsibility for his own words.
With the political process at the moment. And honestly, I think it's the problem in many other spheres of walks of life as well. Like, I think the reason The Walking Dead and Game of Thrones and all that, they start to suck is because of the sort of online bubble, the fandom. And
What? Well, now we're into The Walking Dead and Game of Thrones. Another sort of lateral move in terms of the stream of consciousness. And they get bad because they're in a bubble. Says the man from a bubble of 20 supporters when he claims to have 1 million viewers on
the press is kind of like the political fandom. They're always chasing after whatever's happening in politics, and people are always reacting to them as if they're important, but really they're not that important, are they? The game is changing, isn't it? Let's be honest.
No, it's not. What game? What, his insulated 900,000 subscribers, if you actually look at his channel, about a third of them actually turn up to watch his content. He's not getting 1 million views per video. A lot of those accounts are either, long time gone, people have died, moved on, whatever, but he doesn't get the level of engagement that his sub count, he keeps bragging it on about.
Be honest. So yeah, sorry that you're upset, press. Sorry, I don't I don't know what I'm supposed to do other than carry on being the entertainer that I am.
So he can't help himself. He just has to be. He has to crap his own pants in public and then reach behind in his diaper and smear it on his head. He can't do anything else but do that. He has to entertain us by crapping all over himself and smearing his face in it, reaching back in his diaper going, "Oh, you're so upset. What? That's what he's doing. He's literally just shitting himself on social media and then complaining like it's not his fault. Apologize. Yes, what you're supposed to do, Carl, is acknowledge why your words are offensive and hurtful. Even if you don't find them to be that yourself, you have to at least give validity to the women, the grannies, the grandpas, the moms that are fleeing UKIP because they don't want to have to associate with a guy who talks about raping women, even as a joke. And when you stepped into the public arena, you changed the values on which you would be judged. The real world is not YouTube. You don't seem to realize that, Carl. You've been so long in your bubble. You've really lost touch with what average, ordinary people find decent and offensive. Like, not even offensive as being, offensive jokes, so much as crossing a line into something that isn't even funny is just being offensive for the sake of being offensive. And you've lost that moral compass.
And if you can't understand that I'm not a daytime TV presenter, like, I deal with adults. My audience is adults.
His audience is like teenager boys who think that saying racist things or sexist things that are demeaning to women in this really lame attempt to exercise power. This is what he is. When Carl brings up rape and Jess Phillips, he is coming from a position of having less status and authority, and he's trying to use rape to exert a power over Jess Phillips by bringing her down to a rapeability concept that he can then sort of set the parameters for and put her on the back foot. And he does that because he's powerless. He does that because he's impotent. And he doesn't have the ability to be with her on the same level, so he has to try to use sexual assault, violence, to bring her down to his level, because that's who Carl and what Carl is.
Late night talk show or something, late night comedy show, that kind of atmosphere. If you can't handle that, then okay, I accept that you are only fit for daytime TV, and I recommend what you do is on YouTube.
God, this crappy camera work is so distracting, Carl. Seriously, why did you leave that in? Just do another take, you lazy SOB.
Put the kids only filter on, so you don't get to see any of my videos. Like, I think you'll get 2 videos, like probably one about George Bernard Shaw and Rousseau. They're the ones that you guys can watch because there's nothing in. Well, it's not. There is.
So he's now complaining. He goes out in public, and he makes these comments, and he puts them up on his YouTube channel. But when people see the content he's published, it's not his fault for putting out things that are clearly crossing a line, deliberately to cross lines. It's the fault of people who look at stuff he's put up and have a reaction to it. Again, just no accountability whatsoever. There are teenagers who are far more emotionally mature than Carl is.
There's lots of interesting stuff in there, but you know what I mean. There's nothing of a mature content in there.
And by the way, this was meant to be addressed to Corbyn, and he's now wandered off into the press and just people generally being bad. He's got to 40. Yeah, exactly, John. It's his excuses are getting to the point of being boring. We only have another minute and a half, so.
The rest of my channel is rated M. How about that? It's a mature 18 only, 18 and above only. We talk about things, we make jokes about things. It's rough if you're some sort of daytime TV presenting BBC journalist. But apart from that, I'm sorry. You're going to have to get over the fact that people exist outside of your Eton educated bubble.
Oh, now we're back to Eton. Again with the class politics, Carl. Why are you hating on the educated? What it's just like a class of people that you are hating on because they made more of an effort to read books than you ever have? That doesn't seem like a valid basis to be hating on people. And just because someone, is more educated doesn't mean they went to Eton. I don't know, like I said, that is definitely a class attack for people outside the British context. Eton is a public school. it's a public school in Britain. It's a private school. You know, it's like it's meant for wealthy people. It's very elite. So by saying that someone went to Eton, you're not just saying that they are well educated. You're saying that they're a class based of education. So Carl has called himself a pleb, right? And he's also talked about the class structure. So he's drawing on Marx here. He's making a Marxist critique of class divisions and saying, essentially, you people in the bourgeois class have a more refined sense of humor. But us down here in the proletariat, we plebs, we'll just talk about anything and don't judge me. So what's up with this Marxist critique, Carl? I didn't realize. Have you even read Marx? Have you read more of Marx than Jordan Peterson? I doubt it. I mean, Jordan Peterson's barely read the Communist Manifesto. And I just, again, I love the idea. He's, again, the confidence of a mediocre white man. Jordan Peterson thinking he could just sit down and read the Communist Manifesto and then put the book down, not read any commentaries written by any experts, not look at any other summaries, you know, and just go, I'm going to think about this book myself, and my big brain is going to come up with ideas that no one's ever heard of before. That's like Carl Benjamin, you know, like next level. Like Jordan Peterson's intellectual laziness on a topic he wants to speak to is one book away from Carl's at this point.
Because we do. So just get over it. Jeremy Corbyn, you're an evil man.
Think about thinking, yeah.
You are actually an evil man.
Okay, so now we've gone, Jeremy Corbyn has no right to ask for an apology because it's not only that he disagrees with him, it's not only because he's not a moral arbiter, Corbyn is not a moral arbiter, it's not only because Jeremy Corbyn once said something nasty or criticized Churchill or said something nice about Fidel Castro. Now he's just an evil man. And according to Carl, if you don't have a moral basis for judging people, you can't judge people, which is a bit ironic because if he'd applied that standard to himself, Carl would be in no position to judge Jeremy Corbyn. Also, I saw a comment in the chat, I think it was Coach Red Pill. Hello, I know you're a fan of the show. Like, you stop by from time to time. Before we go on to this next part of his rant, what's going to happen with Carl's channel? Certainly he is attracting a lot more attention to his channel now. I've seen some people start to tag in PayPal. Whether or not PayPal wants to be associated with a guy who is now in public on record saying he might rape a member of parliament. That seems to me to start crossing some lines into what PayPal wants to be publicly associated with. But in terms of his YouTube channel, he might, I don't know, I know I think he took down the slurs video about it is not acceptable for you to call me fill in the blank video. He took down his Lacey Green video. He is trying to scrub his past a little bit, although I have that mirrored on the backup channel. And he's had his joke video from BuzzFeed taken down, but I think that was a strike. So yeah, certainly it's the case that Carl is bringing more scrutiny to him by transgressing these public norms. And not only transgressing them, but sort of provocatively transgressing them and then objecting to any reaction to his transgressions. And that is, of course, escalating things. So, yeah, okay, apparently, Coach, you've got it in the chat, but you're going to be doing a stream on Monday with TLDR discussing Sargon. So, yeah, even on the right, if you check out clips being circulated there on YouTube, if you put in Sargon of Akkad or Carl Benjamin right now, you'll get a skewed number of Carl stands, a bunch of Sargons, but there are people out there who are also criticizing him. Kevin and I think, probably being the biggest channels, and we're like under 10,000, but the content still tends to skew toward standing Carl rather than criticizing him on YouTube right now. He had his crew go to work putting out a lot of pro-Sargon propaganda pieces on YouTube to feed into Twitter, but it didn't really change the narrative because YouTube doesn't have as much of an effect on the discourse and the framing of it in the British newspapers as the newspapers themselves do.
You support evil things. You denounce things that are good. You seem to have your values completely inverted. You racially discriminate against the members of your own party. Okay? I don't even go into the anti-Semitism thing. I imagine that the anti-Semitism thing's been overblown by the press as well.
Yes, so he's going to criticize Corbyn, but the anti-Semitism stuff, that's fine. Like, that's probably not even a problem. Like, he's all down with, like, standing for Corbyn on the anti-Semitism stuff. That's where you're going to draw a line, Carl, and say, no. There you're being picked on. But, objecting to a rape tweet, that is beyond the pale.
As well. But yeah, sorry, I know this is a bit of a ramble, but since people have come here for my official response to Jeremy Corbyn,
Since my official report, that should be the clip. Sorry, guys, we're gonna go full theater mode on that one. There you go. Mad man. Oh, that's great. Oh, that was a perfect place to stop. So let's just sit here and I'll be completely freaked out by this look on his face. It's terrifying. Oh my goodness. That is just terrifying. Absolutely terrifying. I feel like I should capture this while I still can. I don't know how to do a control druka here on my computer. But, oh, yeah, there you go. I can't move on from this. It's too good. That pretty much captures that. That wild-eyed, open-mouthed, gormless, hyperbolic look. That is so Carl. That's you, Carl. That's you. Sorry, this way? No, the other way. Ah.
the leader of the opposition denouncing some pleb on YouTube.
Oh, right. The guy who has 1 million subs. Sorry, the guy with 1 million subscribers who's beating out the media is also a pleb on YouTube. He just changes positions into whatever is best for him at the time. He has no core. He has no principles. He is a moral vacuum, to quote Yes Minister. Yes, Minister.
Okay, we are an absolute clown world, and I'll just tell you what I think. And I think you're a terrible person. I think you're a terrible just that your politics are awful.
Okay, can we just do another sort of self-projection? I just want to quote Carl back to himself in these moments, because this is exactly what I would say to him.
Position denouncing some pleb on YouTube.
Right.
Okay, we are an absolute clown world, and I'll just tell you what I think. And I think you're a terrible person.
I think you're a terrible person, Carl. And which you've demonstrated multiple times, unapologetically, with your hypocrisy and your vicious attacks on people, completely uncaring as to the impact of your actions on other people's real world experiences.
I think you're a terrible
you're a terrible politician too, obviously.
Politics are awful.
Your politics are awful, Carl. Your rape politics are awful. And you don't even have policies. When you were asked by Sky News, you could literally not name a single policy. Your politics are hate and division and profiting off of dividing people. Your politics are awful.
You surround yourself with awful people.
You surround yourself with awful people, Carl. Your Sargoons are terrible people who defend rape and who don't have the moral courage to try and make you a better person yourself. They want to keep having you roll around in the mud for their entertainment. They are terrible people as well.
No, I mean, John McDonnell literally said he doesn't want Tories to be able to leave the House without them being harassed. Do you understand what an anti-democratic thing that is, Jeremy?
I actually don't believe it, because Carl's never been known to quote people accurately. So let's just dismiss that.
And it's not like Momentum haven't harassed enough Labour MPs and other members of the party anyway. So you said they go, I denounce this joke on Twitter. Get bent, Jeremy. I don't care. I think you're a bad person.
I think you're a bad person, therefore I don't have to listen to you. Mwah. Ah, he's such a child. Oh, and that was it. That was his big brain statement. There you go. Edgy boy on the internet has a temper tantrum. Essentially, that's what that was. He was not sorry, then he was sorry if you were offended, then he was sorry if you don't share their values, then he was not a moral authority, then he just... Alright, so I think we're coming up to the end. Yeah, we got about 15 minutes left before the top of the hour, so I'm going to have a look at the chat here if you guys have any other comments you want to put out right now and say this is your opportunity. I want to thank, by the way, John, for making that effort to keep track of all of Carl's bad excuses. What is wrong with you? Can I put you in a timeout? No, my poor eyes, I know, but watching him break down was pretty entertaining. That's one of his better breakdowns. Oh, my lights just went out because the power ran out, so you can tell I'm getting near the end of the show. I'll plug that back in, balance my lighting out again. Yeah, I can't even remember what I was saying now. Okay, question. Finally got around to watching Leaving Neverland. I've not watched Leaving Neverland, so I can't speak to anything. Hey, Culture Shots, how you doing, mate? Good to see you in the chat. I wasn't able to get my hands on the documentary, so I can't really speak to that. And as you guys know, I'm perfectly happy to say I don't know enough about a topic to speak to it, rather than trying to make up an opinion on the spot. So sorry to Fiddy, can't help you there. 99 minutes, nearly 9 minutes to say I don't care. Yes, exactly. I'm gonna keep watching, but I can't. The Carl part's done. Final count 52. 52 excuses as to why you wouldn't apologize. Right. Double dings. Check my Twitter. You just sent me something. Okay, let's go check my Twitter. I am on the Twitter, so you know I can check it. There we go. Thank you, Mike. I love having live memes. This is great. Number of excuses Carl Benjamin gave in the I have been denounced by Jerry Corbyn over a joke video. Love it. Shared it. Just retweet. It stands on its own. You don't need me to comment. That is a classic. So thank you so much for that, Mike. Do I think the ruling Akkadian Empire sufficient political experience for being an MEP? Clearly not. That is another thing we can look at a little bit, but the most recent polls, Kevin put this out to me the other day, showed similar to... Thank you, Rockspeak. Yes, 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 yes. This is what I need in my life. This is what I need. Oh, there you go. There's a face to give you a heart attack in the morning. Oh, this is great. Terrifying. Oh, I can't spell today. I'll just do it. Scary. Scary Carl. Oh, I can't spell. Wow, thank you. That is so great. Oh, thanks for that, you guys. But Kevin has shared with me a tweet with a projection based on current polling data that UKIP are currently slated to get exactly 0 seats in the upcoming EU elections, down from a high watermark of 30-some% overall, like 31% overall in 2015, the last time these took place. And they are currently on par to have every single seat that they won taken from them, or in this case, people were resigning to join the Brexit party. I really had, sorry, was it also use the 52 still? It looks genuine, like he's about to cry. Okay, at minute 7:52 on that video. Also very funny. Thanks, Sean. But yeah, he's managed to destroy a party in a way I didn't think possible in such a short amount of time. Now, of course, UKIP is gone downhill because they also were actively associating with Tommy Robinson, and he brings a lot of baggage. But I really think that the coup de grace, there was like a downward slide, but then to show up at a press conference with the Nazi pug guy and the rape tweet guy, and every time Batten has been on air, he's gone to bat for Carl. And I have to wonder, there was in the Times article, they said something about Carl being pressured to resign. And I can't see how Batten can continue to let him be the face of the party. It's completely self-destructive. Absolutely self-destructive. And if they want to exist, he needs to disassociate himself from this toxic man. But of course, he's so invested. He's picked Carl Benjamin over incumbent women who have run successfully for his own party. And he picked this guy from the internet over them. So if he, at this point, disassociates from Carl, it's going to look like, what did you do all of that for if all you were going to do is realize he's too toxic to be elected too? So I don't know. He's kind of in a, when do you pull out if you're Jared Batten? The sooner you do it, the better for your party. But on the other hand, it makes you look weak, like you made a really, really bad decision, which of course he had. All right. Sargon's daughter had a really high status compared to Carl of Akkad. Okay, you're talking about in real life. Okay, guys. 10 to the hour, 8 to the hour. I'm amazed UKIP haven't thrown Batten out too. it might just be at this point there's not enough people left who care about the party to do it. But it seems to me quite clear that Carl has brought the party in disrepute. If somebody in the UKIP camp wanted to bring up Carl on the charges of bringing the party into disrepute, because it is in the bylaws, he could, I think, have a good case for expelling him as a party member. And the question is, does Batten have the balls to save his party over his friend, over his little buddy? As Wrong Speak Auditor says, I think Batten heard the words 1 million subscribers and had no idea what it meant in terms of real-world engagement. That's right. Because as I said, if you look at his channel, it's about a third of that maximum that he gets on his videos. He doesn't get 1 million views. So he really got hoodwinked. I think he saw a slight bump in membership, a little bit of money come in, and thought it was easier than doing the hard work of campaigning, which involves going door to door and talking to real people and having to engage with the public, and the fact that the public isn't going to be, fawning fanboys. But in Carl's little bubble, he's weeded out anyone who's not a fawning fanboy. Yeah, James says, I don't know if Batten has much idea about the real world in general either. Given his political abilities here, his lack of political nous and understanding how to not alienate your core supporters, which are, elderly men and women. Yeah, I think he also has no idea. Well, guys, this has been a lot of fun. I know it's been pretty Carl heavy, but he's just making news. We have to cover this. We absolutely have to, because other people might do it from a left perspective, but we have fun doing it from here. All right, I see that Miko has a question. Is there any other time in near history that party seemingly has collapsed like this? Well, yine, if you want to say, in terms of how you want to say collapse. After the Liberal Democrats were in coalition with the Conservatives from 2010 to 2015, and the Liberal Democrats had gone back on a lot of their election promises. Well, no, they went back on a few core ones. They said that they opposed tuition freeze, but then got in government with the Tories, and I don't need my headphones in anymore. Got in government with the Tories and approved of tuition fees, raising them to $3,000. Voters remembered that flip-flop. And there were some other policies that the Liberal Democrats did in coalition with the Conservatives. They went from having 40-some seats to having 16. But they still existed as a party. They weren't wiped out. They didn't have, from what I can remember, entire offices shutting down. And then, so that to me, in terms of the loss of a party and seats and reputation, I was putting Nick Clegg up above Batten in terms of party self-harm until the local elections. And now I think in terms of absolutely destroying a party, from when you took it over to when you're leaving it, Batten might be outpacing Clegg at this point. Finding out my mother has now heard of Carl Benjamin was surreal. Yeah, it is kind of weird when it starts to get into your real life. Cog wants me to look at what he's tweeted me. All right, that's going out. That's going out. All right, retweet with comment. How? I can't spell today. Feels when seeing Carl Benjamin story these days. There you go. That is very good. Thank you. Thank you, Carl. You guys are brilliant. That is so funny. All right. YouTube's notifications. Yeah, sorry, Cass, but I'm glad you got to join us at the end. Have I considered making a Discord? I am pretty put off Discord by all of the drama that happens in the Discord things. So we've got the happy hour on Facebook, and so no, I don't have a Discord. But maybe at some point in the future I can do call-ins. I'll have to set up and figure out how that works. All right. You guys are all just sort of congratulating Cog on his very good meme, which, yes, well done. Absolutely well done. And I think with that, we must be getting to the end of the hour. 3 minutes. Yes, my internal clock. I can't tell my left from my right, but I can tell time. You guys, thank you so much for stopping by. I don't know if I'll have any time to do a weeknight winters. We'll see what happens with Carl's drama as we go forward. But thank you for stopping by on a Sunday. Thank you for your patience with my endless cups of coffee. I really needed it, this one. Here we go. 250 saying, though, my mom only really knows him as the rape tweet guy. Yeah, and that's what mums and nans across Britain will know him as. Yeah, nans are your grandmas, by the way, Americans. Yeah, he's the rape tweet guy, and that's what he's going to be like. It's going to be fantastic. So thank you, everyone, for joining me this Sunday. Thank you and I know some people thought the Crypt's lyrics were a little bit on the pedantic side, but again, I'm going to stand for him because he was doing a flow in a consistent way because it was necessary for the telling of the story. So I'm going to defend Crypt. Go check that out on his channel. Go check him out on Spotify as well. I think it's important to support, starting out artists and people who are using YouTube to promote themselves. And until next time, guys, I have been Christy. You have been awesome. We'll see each other again really soon. Looking forward to it. Catch y'all later. Bye-bye.